Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to thank the Honourable Member, Shri Ethelbert Nongrum, Honourable MLA from North Shillong, for having brought the resolution. The House do now resolve to oppose the Forest Conservation Amendment Act 2023 in order to protect the rights of the indigenous people of Meghalaya over land and resources. Sir, obviously the Act and the bill is a kind of a legal document, so therefore a lot of language is there which may confuse a lot of people. But I'll try to make it as simple as possible. In my opening remarks, I would like to say, sir, that the concerns that the Honourable Member has raised are obviously concerns that we all have also. So obviously we are all concerned whether it does in any way dilute the rights and whether we should do things to protect the rights of the indigenous people. But I'll just read out the provisions that were mentioned by the Honourable Members. I have a very long reply, but I don't think it will be necessary for me to go on to all of that because the Honourable Member has referred to a particular section. So in the section 1A, which is what has been added, I'll just read out the entire section for the benefit of the entire House. The following land shall be covered under the provisions of this Act, namely, land that has been declared or notified as a forest in accordance with the provisions of the Indian Forest Act 1927 or under any other act for the time being in force, the land that is not covered under Clause A but has been recorded in government record as forest, as on or after the 25th of October 1980, provided that the provisions of this clause should not apply to such land which has been changed from forest use to use for non-forest purposes on or before the 12th of December 1996 in pursuance of an order issued by any authority authorized by a state government or any union territory administration in that behalf. Sir, I'll just repeat one line on above which I had mentioned, that under the Indian Forest Act or any other law for the time being in force, the land that is not covered under Clause A but has been recorded in government record as forest. Now, the explanation to the word government record means record held by Revenue Department, Forest Department of the state government, union territory, any authority, local body, which means district councils in our case, community or council recognized by the state government or the union territory administration. What this means, sir, is that apart from what the Indian Forest Act 1927 has defined as forest, any definition that government of Meghalaya would like to define as forest tomorrow will come under the provision of this act. Including tomorrow if district council also says, well, this is community forest, it will come under the provision of this law. And hence, there is nothing to, as far as the provisions of this law are there, we have taken the views from our learned AG, and I'll read out that particular view, that the Forest Amendment Act inserted section 1A defining what is forest. Sir, you will recall, and the Honourable Member had also mentioned it, that in the previous Forest Act, the definition of forest was vague, and hence the Supreme Court had gone with a definition of the dictionary definition of forest. And hence what the government has done today by this amendment is only given a better definition to what forest is. And therefore, as per the new definition, forest is one which is notified under Indian Forest Act or defined by any other law. In Meghalaya, the definition of forest under Forest Act 1927 was never invoked. In Meghalaya, forest has been defined by the Act of State Government. And hence, what I'm trying to, in short, conclude and say is that the question of the rights of our community being, what's the correct word, sir? To protect the rights. Sir, this act actually gives us full power to do that. And now it leaves it to the state governments. I'll read out again, sir, the explanation. This is in the Act, sir. That for the purposes of this subsection, the expression government record means record held by Revenue Department or Forest Department of State or Union Territory Administration or any authority, local body, community or council recognized by the state government. And hence, sir, with this clarification, I would presume that our members would be satisfied to know that it is not just that this amendment has been done to give a proper definition to what forest is, and the power to define what the forest is has been given even to the state government and different local authorities. And hence this particular amendment is actually strengthening the powers of the local bodies and the state governments. And in the question of actually allowing the projects in terms of the forest clearances that were required 100 kilometers from the border. So these are for specifically Government of India's forest clearances. For example, in Dauki, the Shillong-Dauki Road project, we spent large time and communicating with Government of India, a lot of time communicating with Government of India to get the forest clearance. Now, does that mean that because this act has been amended and says that 100 kilometers you don't need forest clearance, it does not mean that we don't need the clearance of the district council. It does not mean that other revenue department, other clearance does not require. It does not mean that all the other local clearances we require are not required. All of them are required. But the forest clearance, which earlier was required, will no longer be required. That is what the important thing to note, which means it is making easier for government to implement different projects. So therefore, sir, I have tried to explain to the honorable members why this is there. But, sir, just to again give you another step that we're taking, in spite of the AG's detailed explanation, and also after speaking to the Honorable Forest and Environment Minister, Government of India, a couple of times, the Forest Minister, Government of India, has invited us to Delhi to sit with the DG Forest and other officials of the Government of India and discuss in minute details on any concerns that we may have. And he has again assured that all these are being done to actually give more power to the states and make it more flexible so that states can move forward, states can define what forest is, and that is really what the purpose of this particular amendment act is. And hence, we will continue to follow up, we will continue to seek more clarification just to be double sure, and obviously, sir, if we find that there are any provisions that are there, then we will take necessary steps. But the concerns that has been mentioned regarding section 1A, para 1 of the amended act, this is the clarification that I would like to give. So, sir, since this was only clarification, I don't think there is any need for me to go through the rest of the reply, sir. So with these clarifications, I would like to resume my seat and would at the same time like to request the honorable member to please withdraw the resolution, sir.
Okay. May I know the mind of the mover? Or you want to seek some clarifications?
Sir, thank you once again for giving me an opportunity. So it is not an easy task for us as a legislator. Just to be so much flexible in any matter subject, which we have seen that our union government, they try so much to put the effort how to strip the powers, to strip the right, as we always believe that in the name of development, our right has, our right has been snatched away. So, sir, if the government of Mizoram and Nagaland can pass a resolution to strongly oppose this amendment, I think we, the same, should follow to protect our beloved indigenous right in all aspects.
Sir, I don't know what this practice is of saying that other states are passing, so we should pass. Sir, we have to read. We have to study. I would like to get more clarification from the honorable member, and I'm happy to explain further which particular sentence in this particular act, which particular line or word is diluting the rights of our state and the government snatching away the power, as you mentioned. Because in the section 1A, para 1 that you have mentioned, as I've again clearly stated, the government is defining what forest is. And in that definition power, the government of India is now giving power to the state governments to then define further that apart from the Indian Forest Act, whatever the state government has defined as forest will also be forest. So I don't see where the dilution is. So can you specifically tell me, sir, that I can clarify, but giving a generic statement like that, it's impossible for me to give clarification.
Sir, I presume already that you will deny the fact and will justify your own ground. Sir,
Sir, I'm not denying or defying. I'm giving you facts, sir. I'm asking him to give facts too. That's all. Please tell me which line out here is diluting our power.
Yes, 100 kilometers away from the border. It's already spelled out. It's big by itself.
What does it mean?
You know.
Tell me what 100 kilometers means. What does it mean?
You know very well, sir. What does it mean?
Sir, I can't debate like this, sir. But let me just explain, sir. 100 kilometers means that government of India has said that any major projects that state government or central government takes up, in the future, after this amendment, forest clearance will not be required. Which means that government of India is saying you don't have to come to us to get clearance for these projects in the 100 kilometers or projects which are of importance. But that does not, so that's where they're making it easy. The Dauki project was stopped for many days because we didn't get forest clearance from government of India. Now government of India is saying is you don't have to come to us. Within 100 kilometers of the border, please go ahead with whatever projects you require. And the amendment is to the Forest Act, not to any other provisions that are there in different departments which have to be followed. This amendment does not mean that district council is out, that you can do anything. No. Tomorrow we don't want uranium. District council, government of Meghalaya, people, our rights are still protected. There's nothing. But suppose for some project we want to go ahead. In that case, I'm not saying uranium, I'm saying any other project. So if you want to go ahead with any project, we don't have to take forest clearance for 100 kilometers. Where is the issue, sir? So he can tell me what he means by the 100 kilometers. This is what I mean, and this is what the act means by 100 kilometers. What does he mean, sir? If he can clarify, then I can clarify further.
Sir, thank you so much, sir. It clearly indicates about, yes, of course, we are not like to take into a negative aspect whatever passed by any act by the union government. But we should be careful of our own state, of our own, like we are having many resources. And one of the aspects that we are scared, because government of India, yes, of course, this act is implemented the whole across country, no doubt about that. But we as a state, we should have a strong ground so that we should not allow any indirect policy for which we have seen, we are clearly understand about the uranium issue. That is one of the points that they are trying so much from time to time.
Sir, how does the uranium issue come into this forest?
100 kilometers away from border.
I have again repeated myself. It was only saying that any project, the forest clearance only. Earlier, all projects require KHADC, revenue, blah, blah, blah. All about 10, 15, 20 clearances are required, including the forest clearance. All government of India is saying that tomorrow for any of these important projects that you may have, you don't need the forest clearance because the Forest Conservation Act does not apply to the 100 kilometers, which means that if the state government tomorrow wishes to go ahead and the forest clearance was a problem before, is now no longer a problem. But tomorrow government of Meghalaya does not want to go ahead with the project, it's up to you. This forest clearance does not giving clearance to everybody, sir. Honorable member should read, sir. Read the act, go through the provisions, go through in detail, discuss with people. Sir, general discussion like this is wasting the time of the House, sir. So I request you, sir, there's no use. I don't know how to discuss further with this kind of points. I mean, I'm not diluting his concerns. I'm not saying that his concerns are not important, because I know he's emotional. So yes, sir, the concerns are important. But let me assure him those concerns that he has is not being diluted by the Forest Act, is what I'm trying to say. There is no dilution on the concerns he has. All the concerns for the local rights, everything is protected. And in fact, more power is being given through this act. And his concerns that saying that Mizoram has passed, Nagaland has passed. Sir, if you can give me the factual points based on which the bills the resolution was passed, then I'll be able to comment further. But as per my knowledge and reading and discussion with my legal team and the law department and the Advocate General and the Honorable Minister Government of India, this business being done purely to give more strength and power to the state governments and to the local bodies, sir. So this is what I'm trying to say. Beyond that, sir, he can continue giving his concerns. So that's fine. As I said, I am with him in the concerns, but I want to assure him that none of his concerns are diluted. And further, sir, I'm willing to again listen to him if he comes to my office, and I can take all his points down if he's not prepared today. And accordingly, we can go to Delhi, and I can even facilitate all the discussions to be made for his satisfaction, sir. I'm not giving assurance of that, but that I'll take him along. But if he wishes to come, and I can explain to him further, sir. But I think most of the members have understood that it's very clear what this is, sir. So I guess, sir, I request if any other discussion you would like, then so we should go ahead, sir.
Yeah, much time has been given for clarifying the matter to the honourable member. So let me go directly to the question whether the honourable mover will withdraw his resolution or not.
Okay, sir, I better make a straight point. I will not withdraw.
You will not withdraw. Okay. Since the mover has not withdrawn his resolution, I will put the question before the House. The question is that those who are for the resolution say aye. Those who are against say no. The noes have it, and the resolution is lost.